Hi, and welcome to week 3. This is where it starts to begin a little bit more complex, but also where the magic starts to happen because we start to connect the dots. We knew we wanted something different. We knew we wanted a change. We wanted a big change, a potential quantum leap in our life. And so far, we've kind of figured out what we want to release in our life, let go of, what's toxic, what's not serving us, just kind of letting go of stuff and journaling about it and starting to implement that sort of thing. And then also physically detoxing and decluttering the mind, decluttering our environment. But what's the importance of this? Why are we doing this? And so this is where I'm going to invite in the why, why it was so important. And this video, I do recommend watching it now and then again in maybe a week or two. Because what's happening is with our energy level rising and with us being more aware of our emotions and being more in tune with our intuition, our consciousness is expanding. And it's going to happen. Sometimes it might feel like overnight, like you'll wake up and just feel like, I don't feel like I'm as this or as that, or I'm more this and I'm more inspired, I'm more determined. These sort of, we're going to start to sift through that contrast. Like, I can't believe this bothered me a couple days ago and now not at all. Anyway, so right now I'm going to go over why that is and why it's so important to be in tune with it, be in tune with our emotions, be in tune with our thoughts, because this is the very foundation of the formula of how we manifest what we want in our life, and how we just keep at bay what we don't want in our life, and how we set those boundaries and why it's important to set those boundaries. So this is my third attempt of making this video because it is a little complex, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible because it really is fun. This is like the guts of it, So, and my curriculum is much different than any other coach, because no other coach that I'm aware of has you do a physical detox. And this is where I notice exponential results, is whenever I detox, I level up and I shift up and I shift up. So it's cool because it's giving you so much control over your life and over your feelings and over your environment and your reality. So anyway, so we're going to go over emotions, energy, and vibration. And anyway, so when it comes to boundaries, the reason I was talking about boundaries is because we want to kind of drop out of the ego, because the ego is what keeps us small. It's what keeps us in a paradigm, a smaller paradigm. And then over time, because we do need our ego, we need it. But at the same time, there needs to be balance between ego and intuition. I'm seeing what the problem is with a lot of people right now is their intuition is blocked. And that's what's causing a lot of sadness and a lot of insecurity or confusion or frustration, or what's really going on. There's a lack of desire and a lack of inspiration, a lack of determination, and that stuckness and the cyclical patterns that just won't go away. Sometimes they're really small where you can notice them, and then sometimes like when it comes to relationships or careers, it's like, oh my God, I did it again. I ended up in the same kind of relationship or the same kind of work, So by following our intuition, this will kind of help us break out of these cycles and break free of what was chaining us. And what was chaining us came from our ego. So our ego, a lot of people call it the devil. It's not the devil. It's just that we need to be aware of it and when we're operating in it versus when we're operating in our intuition. And so that's why setting boundaries is so important, because, it's one of the most difficult things to do, because people are so nice and people, it's about drawing that line in the sand, and that can be difficult because as much as people can be really annoying, there's other ones that are really nice and mean well, but we still need to set boundaries with them. And the reason is because over time we start to kind of operate in their frequency, and we start to, but that frequency might be different than what our intuition wants. So over time there's that sense of discord where it's like, I like you, but I don't feel like we're vibing, So what I like to do is just set really firm boundaries at first, while I'm going into kind of, I call it hermit mode, where I kind of get my grip on things and look inward and contemplate and what do I want, and take long walks and listen to music and kind of tap into my 17-year-old self, and that's important because that's where we kind of reevaluate where we're at, reassess what we want, and so that's kind of dropping the ego for a little bit and setting those boundaries and thinking, I don't have to do everything by, status quo. Not everything needs to be status quo. We're trying to get out of status quo. So saying no to things doesn't make you, a bad person. It's important during this. This is just a phase. Think of it as like a cocoon. So anyway, in order to tap into our intuition, we need to set those boundaries and start to differentiate when we're operating in ego versus using our intuition. So setting those boundaries, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but I just want to kind of give an overview. So our boundaries are going to solidify our intuition. We'll know when we're operating too much in ego when things become kind of stagnant and complacent and kind of like, to like nothing's progressing, nothing's happening. That means we're probably operating in our ego a little too much. And so we want to break out of that, and we're doing that. That's what we're doing already. So we're already on that path, but I'm kind of backtracking a little bit just to let you know why we're doing what we're doing and why it's so important. And so we'll start to notice too this week that our spectrum of emotions has kind of widened. And this is very subtle. This is very, very subtle. So it took a lot of contemplation on my part to really see that. And then I did a lot of research too later and found that a lot of people, when they quit drinking, they noticed their spectrum of emotion was widened, like exponentially, like unbelievably wider. And this is wonderful. At first it's a little much. It's like, oh my gosh, who is this? What is this? I'm getting emotional. What is this? What's happening? It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to be fully tapped into your emotions, which is, at first I was like, what the heck? I feel like I've been denying myself of this for so long. Because it's a whole entire aspect of ourselves that we on accident, we repressed. And it's because it's so socially accepted to repress and suppress our emotions. And that's why our country is so heavily medicated, whether it's through pharmaceuticals or alcohol abuse or see, the thing is, it's not even abuse. It's not called abuse when you drink 5-6 times a week. And that's kind of crazy to me now. Of course, before it was my normal. But when we step out of that paradigm and we step out of that way of operating for long enough, we're able to look back and see, oh my gosh, that's why I wasn't able to completely feel. And so that's when we can't completely feel this, we're not able to process. We're not able to process the emotion. So then that's what creates the loops. This is what creates mind loops. And that's why things will keep coming back and keep coming back, because we never took the time to process, allow the emotion to tell us what to do, contemplate, honor it, and in a healthy way, release it and let it just go. And that's the coolest part. This was the coolest thing ever, is once I processed the emotions, it was gone forever. I didn't have to think about it ever again. When before, I would drink about it, I would sleep about it, shop about it, go on social media about it, escapism, right? I would escape it, but guess what? It will always come rear its ugly head over and over again. And so now it's about not looking at it as ugly, but being like, you're beautiful. Thank you. You're an indicator of where I'm at in my life. And so some things that we'll notice is after the detox, and once our spectrum of emotion starts to widen a bit, and everyone's going to be different. For me, I was really low on the vibrational scale, which I'll show us in the next page here. I was really low, so the detox, I took a big leap. Some people that are in just right here, it's going to be very, very subtle, but that's where we start to notice there's going to be this is why it's important we do the 6 weeks, is because there's a compounding effect and it builds momentum. So I would say the less you had any kind of dependency on anything, any kind of escapism, it doesn't have to be a substance, any kind of escapism or dopamine release that you were getting from somewhere, The less you were doing that, the longer it'll take for the compounding effect to take place. But it will take place. I've done my research. It will take place. This is where the people who are abusing, abusing alcohol, this is where they're going to notice exponential widening of the spectrum of emotions and an exponential growth when it comes to the compounding effect. This is wonderful. It's magic. And when you realize what's happening, it becomes more magical. So it's like, oh my gosh, wow, this is where we start to feel alive, like alive again. This is when we start to realize we were in a paradigm that was keeping us feeling a certain way. And in hindsight, we realized how asleep, we were. So this is where we start to notice positive impulses versus limiting beliefs. The I can attitude rather than, oh, I can't, I'm too old, I'm too uneducated in that area, I'm too this. No, this is where your mind starts to take a shift. Like, I can't do that. I can do that. I'm totally capable of doing that. And so and that has a compounding effect. Or the I can, and believe me, I was not an achiever in any way, or motivational speaker in any way. I was just keeping to myself, doing my things, staying in my lane. So this was actually really profound for me. I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming a different person. I'll wake up like inspired like every day. So again, this will change from person to person, but it's coming, it's creeping in, because with the detox, we have more energy. If everything is energy and we have more energy, then we're going to start, all of our spectrums are going to start widening. Our consciousness, our emotions, everything's opening up. It's like everything that was offline is turning online now. So that's a good way to think of it. And that's what's happening. And then later, after the 6 weeks, or maybe even during, is when you'll start to notice your own gifts and talents will begin to unlock. For me, singing, I never knew I could really sing. Like, I knew I could sing because I could play guitar, but no, my voice sounded different. The weird, cool things started to happen. And so I'm like, I was just singing along in my car, and I was like, I've never done that before. So we'll start to know, like, whoa, go me. So we'll start to notice these little things, like, and it's and that's why a lot of spiritual circles, they refer to it as your inner child, and it's you. It's really just you. It's you just coming out of your box you've been in for so long. So we have the energy to do this, and we'll have a lot of epiphanies and aha moments. And so this is where it's really cool to journal, document, do a vlog. And then keep that going. Just run with that, because that'll just compound. And if it hasn't happened yet, that's okay. Have that be kind of just heighten your awareness to take notice of those subtleties, because they are very subtle things. Like, I didn't used to think like that, or I didn't used to feel like this. Take notice of it when it does happen, because it will. Over time, everyone's different. So this is where we'll go into the emotional guidance scale. This was created by Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. This is where we connect our emotions with vibration. They are directly related with each other. And what's also quite interesting, and we'll get into this later, but our chakras are involved as well. Those are our energy centers. So everything is connected. Everything is connected. That's what's so amazing about this whole world. It's like a whole other dimension. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. If I do this, then I have this capability, and I'm getting off track. Anyway, so on the emotional guidance scale, it really, really helps us to realize where we're vibrating at, because wherever we are vibrating, this will dictate what will manifest. So when we are in constant states of worry or anxiety, the universe will hand us more reasons to have worry or being anxious. And because it is what it is. It's law. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. It's like, do I have to fake it till I make it? What's the deal here? Well, kind of, yeah. What we want to do is reach for better thoughts, more positive thoughts. A lot of people use affirmations. That's directly to do with your subconscious mind. So we want to start programming our subconscious mind with positivity. And that's why it's so important to do the social media and news detox, because our subconscious is directly related with our emotions. So even though on your conscious mind, you might be trying to think of rainbows and unicorns, if the news is playing and talking about a war going on in the background, your subconscious mind is picking that up. And therefore, your emotions, even though you're trying to think a good thought, your subconscious doesn't care. It's picking up on negativity. And so our emotions are directly related to that. So that's why it's important to detox your environment and to set those flippin' boundaries, because it's all connected. If we create our own magnificent bubble, and this is just temporary, it doesn't mean stick your head in the sand for the rest of your life and not know what's going on in the world. No, this is for your own protection, so we could fill our own cup so that we have more to offer the world later on after the 6-week program. This is all for the greater good. Keep that in mind. It's for the greater good. So when we higher our vibration, opportunities start to come our way. People want to work with us more. Love, relationships, all of those things will become easier. Just by not even having to really put any effort. The only effort you put is into yourself, into your vessel, into your temple, whatever you want to call it, your body. The more you focus on the inside of your body and your surrounding environment, the more your reality will begin to shift. And this will start to raise your vibration. This will start to raise your vibration. So when we are, if we've been stuck anywhere down here, it's usually because it's a combination of our mental loops, our environment, and what we allow into our subconscious mind. It's kept us in this paradigm. And so what we think and what we feel is those, can create beliefs. And the more we believe it, the more we're beating the drum of believing something that causes us to be anxious. And the more we beat that drum, the more the universe hands you things to beat that drum more and more and more until we're at complete defeat. This is where we could really, really spiral. And so negative vibrations, negative energy feeds itself. Negative energy will feed itself. So it doesn't need to be fed. It's like a virus. It just keeps going and going and going. Where positivity needs to be fed. And so that's another reason why it's important to release the anything that can go into your subconscious mind. So there's so many tools out there as far as feeding the positivity, and that feed the subconscious mind too. So one tip there is have solfeggio music, classical music, upbeat music on all the time. Turn off those darn notifications. Any kind of triggers are good. Triggers are good because it allows you to know where you're at. It'll give you an indicator right away, like, oh, I got to process something there. We'll get into that later. That's a different video there. But triggers are important. But right now, because we're creating this bubble for now, we wanna just be aware of what causes our triggers, and kind of be real conscientious of what's going into our subconscious mind. If you've got Yahoo or CNN News popping up with different stuff all the time, even if you're consciously saying no, that's not gonna bother me, it is on a different level, unconscious level that doesn't know about it. So this is where we kind of curate and really like pay attention to the colors in your house or in your office, and pay attention to the smells, the aromas, the everything. Just like make your area like your sanctuary. It's important to have a sanctuary, your safe place where you can be creative, you could be silly, you could be whoever you want to be, and this will allow our vibration to raise. So I have included a very clear, a much more clear. This was just mostly for me to stay on track, but I've attached a document there so you could see a clear diagram there. Anyway, so I think from here we'll go ahead and go into point of attraction. So anyway, energy, emotion, and vibration are all related. So as if we just focus on one thing, keeping this vessel, and it's like, as long as we keep our little bubble clear and light and happy as much as we can. This is, this is playtime. This is a time to be creative, with what you allow in and what you want out. the more our vibration will just start to raise. And what's cool about this is I've been on this journey for a couple of years and I'm still raising mine. And as I raise mine, the more I manifest and the easier life gets and the more I'm skipping down the street. It's like, it just keeps going. So, so now we'll go ahead and go to a point of attraction. So because, this is also very, very messy, but bear with me. So here, with point of attraction, what we are beating that drum of, right, is what's going to be delivered to us. So if we are always surrounded, if we're always in an environment where there's a lot of gossip and a lot of, Debbie Downers and that kind of stuff, we get sucked into it. I get it, but that becomes our point of attraction. So we just attract more of that. I did kind of cover that just before. So sometimes we notice that we're right here. We're just kind of like, whatever. Like, this is when we start to reach. Let's start to reach for something. Get out of your comfort zone. That's step one. Do something that's out of your normal. Like, join a hiking group or even just go to your local like Mothers or Sprouts and just strike up conversation with the vitamin people. I don't know, just any, like, one of my comfort zone thing was I did a DIY bench outside, and this is when I was still very much in I'm not asking anyone for anything, I had already detoxed and everything, but that was still part of my I had a blockage, I was really bad at asking for help. And so I had my big old pieces of lumber and I can do this myself. And of course I was still struggling, but I did it. Well, the following day, I'm like, you know what? No, I was aware of this, that I did that. And I'm like, I could have asked for help. Those things were heavy. And so the next day I needed some plywood cut. And so I'm like, Stacey, you got to just march up there, get out of your comfort zone, which is basically just suffering, right? Get out of your comfort zone and ask for help. Oh my gosh, when I did, me and the guy cutting the wood struck up a wonderful conversation, and he's talking about his daughters and his dogs, and it's just like, that was so cool and so easy. And he helped me take it to my car, and he gave me some extra pieces of wood that I might need that were just whatever. So it's like, when we get out of our complacency, our comfort zone, our ego, then we start to just explore and discover. And this opens up our point of attraction for more manifestations, positive manifestations to come in. When we're down here, we're attracting negative manifestations, and those can become diseases. Those can become physical ailments. Those can become really, really nasty the longer we hang out here. So being conscious of where we are on that vibrational scale and what our point of attraction is, that's a huge tool. That's a wonderful tool. It's of course things are going to happen. Challenges will arise. But they will lessen less the higher your vibration. It's weird. It's because you've created your own reality. It's the weirdest thing. It's like less drama is happening. Huh. It's bizarre, but it's really cool. So the more we're up here, the more opportunities, the more just amazing chain of events will begin to unravel. And this has a compounding effect. This is momentum. And then plant those seeds. These ideas and epiphanies will just start popping off. And that's why it's important to document and like, ooh, this is getting fun. I didn't even have dreams a few weeks ago. Like, I didn't even know what, and those, I didn't even have dreams probably even 8 weeks after my detox. I didn't. I just was like, I don't know what I'm dreaming. I want to keep feeling this good. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to keep feeling wonderful. So that's where, I was always on this journey of self-discovery and discovering the universe. Self-discovery, discover the universe. And then in that, you start to see what other interests you might have. It might be different modalities or hobbies you had as a kid that you kind of neglected, or different aspects of yourself that you haven't explored, So this is wonderful because as we learn about ourselves, we learn about ourself, plus our wonderful new point of attraction is going to attract what our soul really likes. And that just doesn't stop as long as we just keep our consciousness expanded. Then consciousness expansion equals evolution, so when we're stuck in ego, we don't evolve. And so that's what causes depression, is the lack of evolving. So anyway, I think I pretty much covered, the importance of our emotions, our vibration, and point of attraction. I know it's a little bit all over the place. I will have a lot more information in the library and resources where you can explore more. There's so many different wonderful, wonderful teachers out there that have their interpretation and their way of explaining it. I just wanted this to just cover all the bases, just so you know why you did the detox. It's important. Just think of it this way: when in doubt, just clear the vessel, clear that vessel, because a lot of and your surroundings. Like if we're feeling down, we got to notice what's in my body, what's in my surrounding environment, and what can I do without? What can I let go of that might be bringing me down? And this takes a while, but it starts to become fun, because once you start to realize that our attachments to things that aren't serving us literally bring us down in every way, once you release them, there's a little bit of expansion. Release, expand, and then we start to adopt the things that do work for us, and those things will evolve too. Those will cycle in and out of our life too. So anyway, I'm so excited to talk more about this and get deeper, but for now, just I wanted you to understand the importance of why I had you do the detox, which I don't think any coach does, but you'll thank me later. Okay, bye.